クリスマスイブの夕暮れ、ウィンディアは街で凍えて泣いている女の子に声をかけました。どうしたの？女の子は答えました。迷子になったの。ウィンディアはその子をお屋敷に連れて帰ることにしました。それが聖夜を悪夢に変える出来事の始まりだったのです。おじいちゃん！みんなの大好きなディオールおじいちゃんが血を流して倒れていました。誰？
メリークリスマス
Ho 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 everybody, welcome back to an extra festive Shoreviewken. Today I'm taking a look at DeathSmiles 2, Makai no Merry Christmas. It's another cave shooter that was released in arcades in 2009 and later on the Xbox 360 in 2010. It never got a physical release outside of Japan, but it was made available in North America via Xbox 360 Games on Demand. It's an odd combination of the decidedly gothic and horror-themed DeathSmiles property with a little bit of holiday cheer. DeathSmiles 2 is set on Christmas Eve when the evil and twisted Satan Claus mortally wounds the adopted grandfather of the 6 young female protagonists and steals 6 golden musical notes with magic powers so he can open a door to the demon world and flood the earth with the forces of evil at the stroke of midnight. So the girls set out to get the musical notes back, stop Satan Claus, and hopefully save their poor grandfather's life. I personally love the plot in DeathSmiles 2. It can be easy to write your way around the fact that the game is a bullet hell shooter set at Christmas time. I think making Santa Claus the demonic villain was a stroke of genius. And really, who's to say that Santa isn't a crazy demon guy trying to take over the world? I refer you to one Bill Goldberg in a little film called Santa's Sleigh. Just a little food for thought. If you've played the original DeathSmiles, a game which did get a US release, then you should be pretty comfortable playing DeathSmiles 2. It's the same basic game. It's a side-scrolling bullet hell shooter, and you can switch between facing to the right or left to take out enemies in front of and behind you. You have 6 characters to choose from in 2 of the game's 3 play modes, and they all have a different shot type thanks to each of them having their own little sidekicks that act as options and perform differently. They might fire a homing shot, spread shot, or a high-powered direct shot. They're all different but equally useful, and this rather large selection of characters by shoot-'em-up standards offers quite a lot of variety in the gameplay. As you destroy enemies, they drop what looks like gold rings that increase your power from 0 to 1,000 as you collect them, and once you reach 1,000, you can activate a powered-up mode that greatly increases your attack strength and turns all of the bullets on screen into points when activated. You also have a stock of bombs that can clear the screen of bullets, annihilate lesser enemies, and deal some massive damage to bosses. Speaking of bosses, this game features some awesome ones. They typically fill up at least half the screen, and their designs are really cool. I think my favorite is the giant zombie guy, who looks like he comes from the Baroque era. It's especially cool when he throws his head at you and he vomits a ton of bullets that fill the screen. One of the stranger boss battles in the game involves a couple of giant stuffed animals with mutilated genitals? Okay. I know different cultures have their own Christmas traditions and all, but this doesn't really seem to be in keeping with the spirit of the season. But far be it from me to judge. As I said before, there are 3 gameplay modes to choose from in DeathSmiles 2. There's the X mode and an arranged mode that are both slightly different, and specifically made for the 360. And there's the arcade mode, which is a direct port of the arcade version, and it's actually my least favorite of the three. You only have 4 of the 6 characters to choose from in this mode, and it seems to be considerably more difficult, being an arcade game and all. Luckily, there are a lot of options to adjust the gameplay in any of the modes to your liking. You can not only adjust the difficulty, but also adjust how much health you have, how much damage the enemy bullets do, how much damage it takes to kill the enemies, and how many bombs you can have in stock at one time. So no matter what your experience level is, you can find a way to play that's right for you. There are even some bonus mini-games thrown in that can be a nice little distraction. Overall, the gameplay in DeathSmiles 2 is outstanding. In fact, this and the first game in the series are 2 of my favorite cave shooters, which is saying a lot. I've played a ton of them and they've all been really fun. I also really like the visuals and sound design in DeathSmiles 2. Obviously, with this being a Christmas-themed game, there are stages with lots of Christmassy type stuff, and I can't really argue with Christmas lights and snow-capped houses. I really like that kind of thing. There are plenty of stages that don't have a heavy Christmas atmosphere though, and those look nice as well. This is actually the only cave shooter I can think of that uses 3D polygons for the backgrounds as opposed to 2D graphics, and it all looks pretty good. I also really like the character designs, not just the girls who all have a cool gothic anime look to them, but also the enemies, which are varied, and as I said before, the very well designed bosses. The sound design is fantastic. The music is really good, again with some awesome Christmas atmosphere, but some good music with seemingly nothing to do with Christmas as well. It's all great. The sound effects and voice work are also really good, and side note, if you find the special edition as I did, it comes with a soundtrack. Awesome. So, DeathSmiles 2 is an all-around great bullet hell shooter with a really nice gothic Christmas motif. Unfortunately, it's not region-free, so if you don't have a Japanese Xbox 360, you might want to track down that downloadable version. It's totally worth it. And while you're at it, give the first one a try if you haven't already. This might not be the first style of game that comes to mind when you think of great games to play around Christmas, but it definitely has the holiday spirit so many of us enjoy so much. Check it out.
ディオール邸では盛大なパーティーが催されている。一度は失われたこの幸せを皆心から感謝し、喜びをかみしめていた。その無邪気な笑い声はいつまでもいつまでも温かい食卓を賑わすのだった。